When you grow old, 8 types of people you should not help. As we grow older, life presents us with a unique opportunity to reflect on what truly matters. Our time, energy, and peace of mind become more precious than ever. For seniors in their golden years, it's essential to focus on what enriches your life and avoid what drains it. While helping others is a virtue, not everyone deserves your generosity. Some people will take advantage of your kindness, leaving you emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially depleted. Here are 8 types of people you shouldn't help in old age to avoid trouble, especially the 8th type, which you must know about. 1. The manipulator. Manipulators are some of the most challenging people to identify, let alone distance yourself from. Unlike overtly difficult individuals, manipulators often present themselves as charming, considerate, or even vulnerable. They don't demand help outright. Instead, they subtly weave guilt, obligation, and emotional cues into their requests, making you feel as though saying no would be an act of cruelty. But behind their facade lies a calculated intent to use your kindness as a tool for their own gain. For older adults, manipulators can be particularly insidious. They may appeal to your nurturing instincts or reference the bond you share, making their requests feel personal and urgent. Perhaps they suggest they have no one else to turn to or imply that you owe them support because of a past favor or family tie. Their tactics are often so subtle that you may not even realize you've been manipulated until you're already entangled in their web. Helping a manipulator doesn't feel like generosity, it feels like surrender. Over time, their demands grow, their gratitude fades, and your sense of autonomy diminishes. The joy of helping others is replaced by a heavy burden of obligation, and you may find yourself questioning how you became so deeply involved in their problems. What's worse, manipulators rarely stop once they've succeeded in gaining your support. They often return with new needs, each request more pressing than the last, until you feel drained and resentful. Recognizing a manipulator requires a keen sense of self-awareness. Ask yourself, are their requests reasonable? Do they express genuine gratitude? Do you feel uplifted after helping them, or does their involvement leave you feeling depleted? If you notice a pattern of guilt-based persuasion or one-sided interactions, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. Setting boundaries with manipulators is not selfish, it's self-preservation. You've spent decades building a life filled with wisdom, experiences, and meaningful relationships. Protecting your peace doesn't mean closing yourself off from helping others. It means ensuring that your kindness is not exploited. Saying no to a manipulator is not an act of cruelty. It's a declaration of self-respect. 2. The perpetual victim. As you age, life teaches you the value of resilience, the ability to navigate challenges with grace and wisdom. Yet not everyone embraces this lesson. The perpetual victim is a person trapped in a cycle of self-pity and helplessness, unable or unwilling to break free. These individuals present themselves as overwhelmed by life's difficulties, but behind their tales of woe lies an unwillingness to take responsibility for their choices. Instead of seeking solutions, they become dependent on the empathy of others to sustain their narrative of misfortune. When you offer a hand to a perpetual victim, it may feel like the right thing to do. After all, your years of experience and compassion make you inclined to guide and support those in need. However, with these individuals, your kindness often turns into a lifeline for their dysfunction. They don't want solutions, they want sympathy. They want someone to confirm their belief that the world is against them and that their struggles are beyond their control. This dynamic can become draining, especially for seniors who value peace and stability. At a time in your life when your energy should be spent cherishing meaningful connections and enjoying the fruits of your wisdom, the perpetual victim can pull you into their endless spiral of crisis. They may call you repeatedly to share their latest setback, drawing you into their emotional drama and leaving you feeling exhausted and powerless to help. It's important to recognize that helping someone who refuses to help themselves isn't true assistance, it's enabling. By constantly stepping in to save the perpetual victim, you rob them of the opportunity to take control of their life and grow stronger. Instead of solving their problems, you become a crutch, and they remain stuck in the same destructive patterns. Letting go of the need to fix these individuals can be difficult, especially for someone with a caring heart. But remember, your compassion is a precious gift, and not everyone is ready or deserving of it. Helping someone requires a willingness on their part to take ownership of their challenges. Without that, your efforts are not only wasted, but may even perpetuate their unhealthy behaviors. When you encounter a perpetual victim, offer your wisdom sparingly and with boundaries. Share advice if they ask for it, but don't allow their problems to consume your time and emotional energy. Ultimately, you are not responsible for fixing their life. Your role, if any, is to inspire and encourage, not to be their permanent rescuer. 3. The chronic complainer. As the years pass, you come to realize that life is as much about perspective as it is about circumstance. The chronic complainer, however, sees life through a lens of dissatisfaction. Regardless of their blessings or opportunities, these individuals are perpetually focused on what's missing, what's wrong, or what could be better. They cling to grievances and negativity, refusing to acknowledge the silver linings that surround them. For someone in their later years, the presence of a chronic complainer can be particularly draining. At this stage in life, you've likely faced your own share of challenges, learning to adapt and find joy in what remains. Your resilience is a hard-earned treasure, yet the chronic complainer often seeks to erode it, pulling you into their vortex of pessimism. Their complaints might be trivial or profound, but they are rarely accompanied by a desire to find solutions. Instead, they use their dissatisfaction as a means to command attention and emotional labor. When you extend a helping hand to a chronic complainer, it rarely brings the sense of fulfillment you might hope for. No matter how much you do for them, they will always find a flaw or a shortcoming in your efforts. Your genuine intentions are met not with gratitude, but with criticism, leaving you feeling unappreciated and drained. Over time, their negativity can begin to seep into your own outlook, overshadowing the peace and joy you've worked so hard to cultivate. It's essential to recognize that helping a chronic complainer doesn't heal their discontent, it fuels it. By constantly attending to their complaints, you reinforce their focus on what's wrong instead of encouraging them to see what's right. True support involves empowering others to find their own path to contentment, but a chronic complainer is often uninterested in such empowerment. As you grow older, protecting your emotional well-being becomes even more critical. Choose to surround yourself with people who uplift you, who seek joy, and who find beauty in the small blessings of life. When faced with a chronic complainer, offer empathy but resist the urge to fix their outlook. Their happiness is their responsibility, not yours. By maintaining this boundary, you preserve your own peace and ensure that your compassion is directed toward those who value it. 4. The entitled. A sense of entitlement can be one of the most disheartening traits to encounter, particularly for someone who has spent a lifetime valuing hard work, gratitude, and mutual respect. The entitled person approaches life with the belief that they are owed your time, effort, and resources, not as a gift, but as a right. They rarely, if ever, acknowledge the sacrifices you make to help them. Instead, they demand more, assuming your generosity has no limits. For older adults, the entitled individual can be particularly exhausting to deal with. They often disguise their demands as needs, making it difficult to discern genuine help from exploitation. They may appeal to your sense of responsibility or play on your kindness, leaving you feeling obligated to meet their expectations. But no matter how much you give, it's never enough. Gratitude is absent, replaced by an ever-growing list of demands. The entitled person doesn't just drain your resources, they erode your sense of self-worth. When your kindness is met with indifference or expectation, it can leave you questioning your value. It's easy to feel taken for granted, as though your efforts are invisible or insignificant. Over time, this dynamic can foster resentment, a bitter contrast to the joy that giving should bring. It's crucial to remember that entitlement is a reflection of the other person's mindset, not your worth. Their inability to appreciate your help does not diminish the generosity behind your actions. Recognizing this distinction allows you to set firm boundaries, ensuring that your kindness isn't exploited. Helping should come from the heart, not from obligation or guilt. When you encounter someone with a sense of entitlement, consider the cost of your support. Are you sacrificing your peace or well-being to meet their expectations? If so, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. Your time and energy are too valuable to be spent on those who fail to respect them. 5. The drama seeker. As you age, peace becomes one of life's greatest treasures. You've likely learned that quiet moments, meaningful conversations, and simple joys are far more fulfilling than the chaos that often accompanies youth. Yet some people seem to thrive on chaos. Drama seekers are those who create conflict wherever they go, stirring up trouble even in the most serene environments. For them, calm and harmony are foreign concepts. Without some sort of crisis, they feel adrift, almost as if their identity depends on the chaos they generate. Engaging with a drama seeker can feel like being swept into a storm. They might approach you with tales of betrayals, or exaggerated conflicts, often designed to elicit a strong emotional reaction. Their problems are never straightforward and are often painted in such a way that you feel compelled to intervene, often without understanding the full context. Before you know it, you're drawn into their whirlwind of exaggerated stories, conflicts, and constant emotional upheaval. For older adults, this kind of relationship can be particularly damaging. At a time in life when you're seeking tranquility, the drama seeker can inject unnecessary stress and turmoil into your day-to-day existence. The emotional toll of constantly managing their chaos can lead to frustration, confusion, and even physical exhaustion. Worse still, drama seekers rarely show any sense of appreciation for your help. Instead, they'll continue to create new crises, dragging you deeper into their world of conflict and turmoil. While it's tempting to try and offer solutions or comfort, it's crucial to recognize that you're not the solution to their perpetual drama. They may act like they need you, but in reality, their desire is to keep the chaos going, not to resolve it. The drama seeker thrives on attention, not resolution. Over time, they drain you emotionally, leaving you feeling used and exhausted. If you're constantly pulled into a cycle of drama, it's time to assess the cost to your well-being. Recognize that offering support doesn't mean becoming a permanent fixture in their chaotic life. You can set boundaries without being unkind. The key is to refuse to become entangled in their endless emotional loops. Offering empathy, while protecting your own peace, is the best way to manage these relationships. 6. The gossip. Gossiping may seem harmless, but it can have long-term emotional consequences, especially for older adults. A person who thrives on gossip is often more concerned with spreading rumors and half-truths than cultivating genuine relationships. Their conversations revolve around the flaws, mistakes, and misfortunes of others, often with no regard for the damage they cause. The gossip may seem entertaining at first, but before long, you begin to realize that their focus on other people's lives is a reflection of their inability to focus on their own. Gossipers are skilled at drawing you in with juicy details or intriguing stories, often about people you know or care about. But when you engage with them, you're merely feeding their need for drama. Instead of spending your time with those who bring positivity and joy into your life, you're stuck listening to tales that only breed negativity. Worse still, gossipers often seek to involve you in their web, asking for your opinions or judgments on the matters they discuss. Once you're drawn into the gossip, you may find yourself caught in a cycle of judgment, resentment, or even guilt. For older individuals, the negative impact of gossip can be especially harmful. You've spent a lifetime developing relationships based on trust, respect, and understanding. Gossip undermines that foundation, creating rifts between you and those involved. The emotional strain of dealing with gossip can lead to unnecessary conflict and hurt feelings, leaving you questioning who you can trust. To protect your peace, it's essential to distance yourself from the gossip. You don't need to engage in or entertain conversations that serve no purpose but to harm others. When confronted with gossip, consider redirecting the conversation or simply removing yourself from it. By doing so, you preserve your energy and avoid contributing to unnecessary drama in your life. 7. The user. The user is someone who will consistently take advantage of you without offering anything in return. They will make demands of your time, money, or resources but rarely, if ever, offer anything of value in return. These individuals don't come to you with genuine needs or intentions. Instead, they view you as a resource to be tapped when they require something. While their requests may seem innocent at first, they often escalate over time, leaving you feeling used and taken for granted. For older individuals, the user can be particularly exhausting to deal with. As your energy decreases and your time becomes more limited, you don't want to be stuck giving to someone who doesn't appreciate what you offer. These individuals are often experts at masking their true intentions, presenting themselves as friends or acquaintances who need help, but they rarely reciprocate in any meaningful way. The user doesn't just take your material resources, they take your emotional energy as well. They might complain about their own problems, asking for your support without considering your own life or challenges. Over time, the imbalance in the relationship becomes apparent, and you may begin to feel resentful of their constant demands. The best way to deal with the user is by setting firm boundaries. You have the right to say no, especially when it's clear that the person is using you for their own benefit. Helping others should be a reciprocal experience, where both parties feel valued and appreciated. If someone continually takes without giving, it's time to stop allowing them to drain your resources. You have the right to be selective with whom you help, and it's perfectly acceptable to prioritize those who show respect for your time, energy, and kindness. 8. The jealous one. Jealousy is an emotion that can poison relationships and create unnecessary tension. The jealous person will often undermine your happiness, success, or achievements, either openly or subtly. They may resent you for things you've accomplished or for the peace and happiness you enjoy. Instead of celebrating your victories, they feel threatened by them, seeking to diminish your sense of fulfillment in any way they can. They may use passive-aggressive remarks, criticize your decisions, or engage in subtle sabotage, all in an attempt to level the playing field. As you grow older, the last thing you want is to be surrounded by people who harbor resentment toward your accomplishments. Your life has likely been a journey of hard work, sacrifice, and perseverance. The jealous person may try to minimize your successes, making you question whether your achievements are truly deserving. Their need to compare themselves to you can create an unhealthy dynamic, leaving you feeling uneasy or unsure of your worth. Recognizing a jealous person can be challenging, as their behavior is often cloaked in seemingly harmless comments or actions. However, you can tell someone is jealous when they consistently downplay your successes, dismiss your happiness, or try to one-up you in every conversation. If you find that someone's presence leaves you feeling anxious or diminished, it's important to acknowledge the impact they have on your life. In these situations, the best course of action is to distance yourself from the jealous person. Their negativity is toxic, and your emotional well-being is far more important than appeasing their insecurity. Protect your happiness and accomplishments by limiting contact with those who try to undermine your joy. Surround yourself with people who celebrate you, rather than people who feel threatened by your success. 9. The narcissist. Narcissists have an inflated sense of their own importance, and a deep need for admiration. Their self-centeredness knows no bounds, and they often exploit others to maintain their image of superiority. They believe they deserve special treatment and are quick to demand attention, validation, and adoration. For them, it's all about being the center of attention, with little regard for the needs or feelings of others. For older adults, the narcissist's behavior can be emotionally draining. They often manipulate situations to make themselves look good while disregarding the emotional well-being of those around them. They may criticize you, belittle your achievements, or use you to boost their own ego. Worse still, they rarely, if ever, express gratitude or offer support in return. Their world revolves around them, and you are merely a tool in their quest for attention. The narcissist's manipulation can leave you feeling exhausted, confused, and unappreciated. They may gaslight you, making you question your perceptions of reality, or guilt-trip you into doing things for them that you don't want to do. Over time, the emotional toll of interacting with a narcissist can lead to diminished self-esteem and a loss of personal boundaries. To cope with a narcissist, it's crucial to set clear boundaries and stick to them. Recognize that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth, and refuse to engage in their manipulation. While it can be difficult to detach from a narcissist, especially if they are close to you, it's important to protect your emotional health by distancing yourself from their toxic behavior. Avoid seeking their approval or validation, and focus on nurturing relationships with people who value and respect you. 10. The manipulator. Manipulative individuals are masters of persuasion, often using subtle tactics to get what they want. They may use guilt, fear, or charm to control others and get their way. They rarely ask directly for what they want but instead try to manipulate situations to their advantage. They are skilled at playing on your emotions, making you feel responsible for their well-being, or convincing you that you owe them something. For older individuals, manipulators can be particularly damaging because they can prey on vulnerabilities. They may exploit your desire to help, your fear of conflict, or your concern for others' feelings. A manipulator often creates a false sense of urgency or need, making you feel as though you must act quickly or without question. They may make promises that sound too good to be true or play on your empathy to get you to act in ways that benefit them. One of the key signs of manipulation is a sense of confusion or guilt after interacting with someone. You may feel like you're constantly being asked to justify your actions or decisions, even when you've done nothing wrong. Manipulators rarely take responsibility for their own actions, instead shifting the blame onto others or making others feel responsible for their mistakes. To handle a manipulator, it's essential to recognize their tactics and not let them influence your decisions. Set firm boundaries and avoid giving in to their emotional pressure. When you feel guilt or pressured into doing something, take a step back and assess whether it's something you truly want to do or if you're being manipulated into it. The more you stand your ground, the less power the manipulator will have over you. 11. The chronic complainer. Everyone has their moments of frustration, but the chronic complainer takes it to a whole new level. They are constantly dissatisfied with their circumstances and are quick to share their complaints with anyone who will listen. No matter how much you try to offer support, advice, or solutions, the chronic complainer refuses to take action. Instead, they wallow in their misery, seeking constant validation for their negative outlook on life. For older adults, the chronic complainer can be a significant source of emotional stress. Rather than seeking solutions to their problems, they feed off the negativity, dragging those around them into their cycle of dissatisfaction. The constant barrage of complaints can make even the happiest moments feel overshadowed by their discontent. Dealing with a chronic complainer requires patience, but it's important to recognize that you're not obligated to fix their problems. You can listen empathetically without becoming immersed in their negativity. However, you should also set limits on how much time and energy you invest in their complaints. Offer support when appropriate, but don't let their constant dissatisfaction dictate your emotional state. Recognize that their complaints are often a reflection of their mindset, not the reality of the situation. If the complaining becomes too much, it's okay to excuse yourself from the conversation or set boundaries around the topic. Encourage them to take proactive steps toward change, but don't feel responsible for fixing their problems. 12. The drama queen. The drama queen thrives on creating chaos and stirring up conflict, often over trivial matters. They are highly emotional and tend to exaggerate situations to make them seem more dramatic than they actually are. Whether it's a small disagreement or an innocuous comment, the drama queen will blow it out of proportion and turn it into an all-consuming issue. They crave attention and will go to great lengths to make sure all eyes are on them. For older adults, the drama queen can be a source of constant stress. Their emotional outbursts can create tension in relationships, leaving others walking on eggshells, unsure of when the next crisis will emerge. The drama queen may act out to get sympathy, attention, or even control over a situation. They may try to manipulate you into taking sides, making you feel guilty if you don't comply with their demands or validate their feelings. Dealing with a drama queen requires a strong sense of calm and detachment. It's essential to recognize when they are exaggerating or creating unnecessary drama and not get drawn into their emotional whirlwind. Avoid taking their outbursts personally, and set boundaries around their behavior. When they try to escalate a situation, remain calm and try to redirect the conversation. The less emotional energy you give them, the less power they have to disrupt your peace. Remember, you don't have to be part of their drama. It's okay to step away or refuse to engage when things get out of hand. If you find that their drama is taking a toll on your well-being, it may be necessary to distance yourself from them to preserve your emotional health. 13. The overbearing parent. Overbearing parents have a tendency to be excessively controlling and overly involved in their children's lives, even well into adulthood. While their intentions may stem from a desire to protect or care for their children, their actions often come across as stifling and intrusive. They may criticize your decisions, dictate your actions, or make you feel as though you are never good enough. Their constant interference can leave you feeling suffocated and unable to make independent choices. For older adults, overbearing parents can be particularly challenging, especially if they still try to control aspects of your personal or professional life. They may question your career choices, your relationships, or your lifestyle, offering unsolicited advice or even insisting on their way of doing things. This can make you feel like you are never able to fully grow or make decisions for yourself. To cope with an overbearing parent, it's important to set boundaries and assert your independence. Politely but firmly explain your choices and let them know that while you appreciate their care, you are an adult capable of making your own decisions. If necessary, limit the amount of time you spend discussing personal matters with them, and focus on creating space for your own growth and autonomy. While you may never be able to change their behavior entirely, you can control how much influence they have over your life by sticking to your boundaries and being clear about your needs. 14. The chronic liar. Chronic liars have a difficult time telling the truth, often fabricating stories, exaggerating details, or completely making things up. They lie to manipulate others, cover up their mistakes, or simply for the sake of getting attention. Their lies can range from small, inconsequential fabrications to serious, hurtful deceit. For older adults, chronic liars can cause significant confusion and frustration. You may find yourself questioning what is real and what is a lie, as their version of events often shifts depending on their mood or what they hope to achieve. Chronic liars can create a toxic environment where trust is eroded, and interactions feel insincere or shallow. Dealing with a chronic liar requires patience and caution. It's important to recognize when you are being lied to and not allow their fabrications to cloud your judgment. You can call out their lies, but it's often more effective to simply disengage from conversations where dishonesty is at play. Keep in mind that you cannot change their behavior, but you can choose not to participate in their lies. Trust your instincts, and don't feel obligated to believe everything they say. If their lies are affecting your well-being or damaging your relationships, it may be necessary to distance yourself from them entirely. 15. The envious neighbor. The envious neighbor is constantly comparing themselves to others, especially when it comes to material possessions or personal success. They may feel a sense of resentment toward those who seem to have more than they do, whether it's a bigger house, a nicer car, or a more fulfilling lifestyle. This jealousy can lead to passive-aggressive behavior, gossiping, or even attempts to undermine the success of others. For older adults, the envious neighbor can create an atmosphere of competition and discomfort. Instead of offering support or friendship, they might secretly criticize your choices or look for ways to make you feel inadequate. Their jealousy can even escalate into attempts to outdo you or cause trouble in your relationships with others. To deal with an envious neighbor, it's important to remain confident in your own achievements and not feel pressured by their behavior. Avoid engaging in their competitive games, and don't take their comments or actions personally. If they try to provoke you with gossip or negative remarks, remain calm and gracious. It can also help to focus on your own sense of fulfillment rather than worrying about what they think. Ultimately, you cannot control their feelings, but you can control how you respond. If the situation becomes toxic or uncomfortable, consider setting clear boundaries or limiting interactions. The less involved you are in their jealousy-driven behavior, the less impact it will have on your life. 16. The overcompetitive friend. Overcompetitive friends view almost every situation as a chance to prove themselves superior. They turn every conversation into a contest, whether it's about who has the better job, the more impressive accomplishments, or the most exciting plans. This constant need to be better can drain the fun out of shared experiences, as they can't seem to enjoy things unless they are ahead of everyone else. For older adults, dealing with an overcompetitive friend can be emotionally exhausting. You may feel like you can't share your achievements or struggles without it becoming a contest. Their need to constantly one-up you can undermine your self-esteem, especially if they belittle your accomplishments in the process. The key to handling an overcompetitive friend is to set clear boundaries. When they turn a conversation into a competition, gently remind them that it's okay for everyone to have their own unique strengths and experiences. It's also important to recognize that their competitiveness often stems from insecurity. Rather than feeding into the competition, offer support and celebrate their achievements without getting drawn into the rivalry. If the competition becomes too much, consider limiting your interactions with them to protect your mental well-being. Ultimately, remember that true friends support each other without comparison or competition. 17. The busybody. The busybody is someone who is constantly in everyone else's business, often to the point of being intrusive. They ask personal questions, gossip about others, and spread rumors, all in the name of curiosity or caring. Busybody behavior can create tension in a community, as people feel like they can't trust that their private matters won't be shared with others. For older adults, dealing with a busybody can feel like a constant invasion of privacy. They may ask you about your family, finances, health, or relationships, and push for more details than you are comfortable sharing. This can make you feel exposed, vulnerable, and frustrated. To deal with a busybody, it's important to set boundaries and make it clear that you value your privacy. Politely but firmly let them know that you prefer not to discuss certain topics. If they persist, you can redirect the conversation to neutral topics or simply avoid engaging in their gossip. If the busybody continues to be intrusive, you may need to limit your interactions with them or even distance yourself altogether. Being aware of the busybody's tendencies can help you guard your privacy and ensure that you don't get caught up in unnecessary drama. Conclusion. As we grow older, the value of our time, energy, and peace becomes even more apparent. We have lived through countless experiences, and now it's crucial to protect the wisdom and serenity we've earned. While helping others is a noble pursuit, it's important to recognize when our kindness is being taken advantage of. By being mindful of the people around us and the dynamics of our relationships, we can avoid the individuals who drain us emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially. Whether it's the manipulator, the perpetual victim, the chronic complainer, or any other person on this list, each has the potential to undermine our well-being if we don't set healthy boundaries. In your later years, you deserve to spend your time nurturing relationships that are truly meaningful, filled with respect, appreciation, and mutual support. By choosing wisely who you help, you can preserve your energy and peace for those who genuinely value your presence. Protecting yourself from those who take advantage of your generosity allows you to continue enjoying the rewards of your hard-earned wisdom, and to live the golden years of your life in tranquility and joy.